Welcome back, to Valuable Coins HD. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into a coin that might look unassuming at first glance but could be worth far more than its face value. We're talking about the 1981 Lincoln penny, a coin that is not only a piece of American history but also a hidden treasure for collectors. If you've got a 1981 penny lying around in your collection, or perhaps buried in a jar of loose change, this video is for you. So, let's take a closer look at why this penny could be more valuable than you think. First up, let's explore the key features of the 1981 Lincoln penny. As part of the long-standing Lincoln Memorial series, this penny features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The design, which has remained mostly unchanged since 1909, showcases Lincoln's profile facing right. You'll also notice the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 1981, inscribed around the edge of the coin. Above Lincoln's head, you'll spot the mint mark, indicating whether the coin was produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 and lasted until 2008. The memorial is surrounded by the inscription, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 1 cent. The reverse has a simple, yet profound aesthetic, symbolizing the nation's enduring ideals of unity and democracy. The design's simplicity is what makes this coin so iconic and why it remains so popular with collectors. Now, you might be thinking, this is just a regular penny. What makes it so special? Well, it's all about the rarity and condition. While the 1981 penny itself isn't particularly rare in terms of mintage, there are certain features, especially errors, that make certain 1981 pennies valuable. So, let's talk about what to look for. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1981 Lincoln penny series is the double die error. This happens when the coin's die strikes the blank planchet multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled in certain areas. For the 1981 penny, this error can be seen in the wording or the date. If you examine the date, 1981, look closely, and you might see that the numbers are doubled, particularly the ones. You can also check the word "liberty" or the phrase, "In God We Trust," for any doubled letters. If you find one with these doubled features, you've got yourself an error coin that could fetch a significant premium in the market. Another error to keep an eye out for is a filled die. A filled die occurs when debris or grease builds up in the die used to strike the coin, causing part of the design to be weak or even missing. This can often make the coin look worn out in areas like Lincoln's coat or the date. While these coins are less dramatic than double die errors, they are still unique and can carry additional value for those who collect unusual coins. So why is the 1981 Lincoln penny valuable, especially if it's just a penny? The value comes from its rarity and condition. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with unique features like double die errors or misstrikes. A double die or filled die penny can make all the difference when it comes to pricing. Coins with these errors are highly prized in the numismatic community, as they represent mistakes in the minting process, and as we all know, errors make coins incredibly rare and valuable, but it's not just errors that can make the 1981 penny valuable. High-grade coins, especially those in mint state, MS, or gem quality, MS65 or higher, are also worth more. If you have a 1981 penny that is in pristine condition with no visible wear, discoloration, or scratches, it could be worth far more than you might expect. The more flawless the coin, the more money you can make from selling it. So, how do you spot a valuable 1981 penny? First, check the condition of the coin. Examine both the obverse and reverse carefully. If the coin has no visible scratches, scuffs, or discoloration, and the details are sharp, it could be a gem-quality penny worth more than just a few cents. Next, use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to closely inspect the date, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. If you notice any doubling or a shadowed effect in the text, then you've got a double die penny on your hands. Similarly, inspect the mint mark. In some cases, the mint mark could also show signs of being misaligned or doubled, which would further increase the coin's value. Finally, pay attention to the reverse of the coin. If you spot any unusual characteristics, like a filled die, where certain details are missing or faded, you've likely found another error coin. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value. You might be wondering, how much is a 1981 Lincoln penny worth if it's in great condition, or if it has an error? Well, here's the good news: depending on the condition and the error present, the 1981 Lincoln penny can be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Coins with double die errors in great condition can range from $3,200 to $42,000, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's grade. While that might sound like a large range, the key takeaway is that coins with errors or those in excellent condition are very much in demand, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever come across a 1981 Lincoln penny with a unique error or in perfect condition? What's the most valuable penny you've ever found? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm always curious to hear about your coin hunting adventures. Today, we're diving into a coin that you might overlook at first but could be worth thousands of dollars, the 1974 Lincoln penny. That's right, this humble 1-cent coin could be more valuable than you think, and we're going to show you why, what to look for, and how to spot a real gem. Let's start by taking a closer look at the key features of the 1974 Lincoln penny. This coin is part of the iconic Lincoln Memorial series, which first debuted in 1959. On the obverse, you'll find the well-known profile of Abraham Lincoln, created by the sculptor Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head, you'll see the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year 1974. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that has been associated with the penny since 1959, symbolizing the nation's foundation and democracy. Around the memorial, you'll find the words "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 1 cent. The 1974 penny was minted using the same composition as many of its predecessors, copper-plated zinc, which makes it relatively common in circulation. However, even though many of these pennies were produced, not all of them are just worth 1 cent. So, what's the secret behind the 1974 penny's value? Well, the key to the 1974 Lincoln penny's value lies in the errors that might be present on the coin. While most pennies from this year are fairly standard, there are a few features that can turn an ordinary penny into a valuable collectible. Let's talk about some of the errors to watch out for. One of the most exciting and sought-after errors in the 1974 Lincoln penny series is the double die error. This is one of the most famous types of minting errors, and it happens when a coin die is improperly aligned or struck multiple times. The result is a doubling effect on certain features of the coin, particularly in the date or the text. In the case of the 1974 penny, you'll want to closely examine the date and the word "Liberty" on the obverse. If you notice that the numbers in the year 1974 appear doubled, especially the 1 or the 4, you may have a doubled die error on your hands. You'll also want to check the word "Liberty" for any signs of doubling. You may see the letters appear slightly offset or appear as a shadowed duplicate of the original design. This is a highly sought-after error, and coins like this can fetch a premium price. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin doesn't align properly during the minting process, and as a result, part of the design is cut off or shifted to the side. This can happen with any coin, but an off-center 1974 Lincoln penny is especially interesting because it gives the coin a very unique look. If you find a penny that has a design that's noticeably shifted or cut off on one side, you might have an off-center error. These errors are rare, and the more extreme the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin can become. The 1974 penny is also notable because it was produced in significant numbers, which means finding a rare error in mint state or one that has never been circulated could increase its worth. If the penny is in near-perfect condition, meaning it shows minimal signs of wear and tear, it becomes much more valuable to collectors. Coins that are graded MS 65 or higher, which stands for mint state 65 or better, can command a higher price, even if they don't have an error. So, why is the 1974 Lincoln penny valuable? As with most valuable coins, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and errors. Since the 1974 penny wasn't produced in limited numbers and isn't made from precious metals like silver or gold, finding one with a rare minting error or in pristine condition is what drives its value. Errors like the double die or off-center strikes make these coins highly sought after by collectors, and they can command substantial prices in the market. Now, let's talk about how you can spot a valuable 1974 Lincoln penny. First, take a good look at the date on the obverse of the coin. Examine the numbers closely, especially the 1 and the 4, for any signs of doubling. The best way to do this is with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. If you notice that the numbers appear to have a shadowed duplicate or ghost-like image, then you've likely found a double die error, which is one of the most valuable types of errors you can find on a coin. Next, look at the word liberty and the phrase, "In God we trust," for any signs of doubling as well. Sometimes, the doubling is subtle, so you'll need to inspect it carefully. If the doubling is noticeable, you're looking at a coin that's worth much more than just 1 cent. If you have a magnifying tool, check the mint mark on the reverse. For the 1974 penny, it could have a mint mark of either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. While mint marks themselves aren't necessarily a major factor in value, coins with errors from specific mints can sometimes be more desirable to certain collectors. The next thing you'll want to look for is the condition of the coin. Is it well worn or does it still have most of its original details intact? Coins that have sharp details, little to no wear, and have been well preserved tend to have a higher value. If your coin is in mint state, MS 65 or higher, it could fetch a much higher price even without any errors. So, how much can a 1974 Lincoln penny be worth? Well, a regular, error-free penny from 1974 is worth just 1 cent. However, a double die error or off-center strike penny in great condition can be worth a lot more. Coins with double die errors can range in price from $3,000 to $38,000, depending on the degree of the error, the coin's condition, and the demand among collectors. To wrap it up, next time you're sorting through your coin collection or going through your loose change, make sure to keep an eye out for the 1974 Lincoln penny. It might just be hiding a rare error or in excellent condition, ready to make you some extra cash. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare penny or one with an error that turned out to be worth more than you thought? Let me know in the comments below. Today, we're going to take a closer look at a coin that might just be sitting in your jar of spare change, the 1975 Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin could be worth thousands of dollars. Stick around, and let's find out why this 1975 penny is so much more valuable than you might think. First off, let's talk about the key features of the 1975 Lincoln penny. This penny features the well-known image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. You'll find Lincoln's profile on the obverse of the coin, with the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" prominently displayed. Just below Lincoln's bust, you'll see the year 1975 inscribed, marking the coin's production year. The reverse of the coin features the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which has graced the reverse side of the penny since 1959. The coin's reverse includes the inscription, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 1 cent. This simple yet historical design has become a symbol of American values and heritage. So, what makes the 1975 Lincoln penny different from other pennies and more valuable than most? Well, while many people might think of the 1975 penny as just another copper coin, there are actually rare and highly collectible errors that can make it incredibly valuable to collectors. And that's where the real excitement begins. One of the most well-known errors to look out for on the 1975 penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the same die, creating a visible doubling effect on certain parts of the design. In the case of the 1975 penny, you'll want to look closely at the date and the word "Liberty." If you notice any areas where the numbers in the date or the letters in Liberty appear doubled or shadowed, then you've likely found a double die error. The double die error is one of the most prized errors in the world of coin collecting, and it's easy to see why. These types of coins are rare and can be worth significantly more than their face value. If you find a doubled die 1975 penny, depending on the severity of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Another error to keep an eye out for is an off-center strike. This occurs when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted. The result is a coin that looks almost misprinted, with part of the Lincoln Memorial or the text missing. If you spot a 1975 penny with this kind of off-center strike, you're holding on to something special. Off-center strike coins are also highly sought after by collectors, especially if the misalignment is extreme. Now, you might be wondering, why is this penny so valuable, and what makes it stand out among the millions of other pennies produced each year? The value of the 1975 Lincoln penny really comes down to rarity, condition, and those errors we've just discussed. In general, 1975 pennies are not rare coins. They were produced in large numbers, which means the minting errors are what make them stand out. Coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or those in mint condition are the real gems that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. Speaking of condition, the state of the coin is crucial to its value. Coins that have minimal wear or damage and show sharp, clear details are always more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. A coin that has been well preserved, preferably in mint state, is worth far more than a penny that's been tossed around in your pocket for years. Grading systems like MS-65 or higher indicate that the coin has been kept in exceptional condition, and those are the ones that collectors really go after. So, how can you spot a valuable 1975 penny? First, you'll want to carefully examine the date. A double die error can be tricky to spot with the naked eye, but using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe will allow you to see any subtle doubling of the numbers. Pay special attention to the 1 and 5 in the year and the word Liberty on the obverse. If you see any ghost images or shadowing, you're looking at a double die coin. Next, check for an off-center strike. If the design appears shifted or cut off on one side of the coin, you might have found an off-center error. These coins are much rarer, and the more extreme the shift, the more valuable it can be. Finally, check the overall condition of the coin. Coins that are still in near-perfect condition or have been well preserved in mint state can be worth far more than those that are well worn. If you have a 1975 penny in MS-65 or better, you've probably got a real collectible on your hands. So, what's the value of the 1975 Lincoln penny? Well, a normal penny without any errors is worth just 1 cent. However, double die errors or off-center strike pennies in excellent condition can be worth significantly more. In some cases, a double die 1975 penny can sell for anywhere from $3,000 to $36,000, depending on the severity of the error, the coin's grade, and the level of demand from collectors. To wrap things up, if you happen to come across a 1975 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look and examine it for any errors or unique characteristics that could make it worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Before we go, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin that turned out to be way more valuable than you first thought? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the valuable coin info. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, happy coin hunting.